And I'm here on this highway, breathing diesel smoke, driving hard for hours, trying to make that Memphis show. People always ask me, son, what does it take to reach out and touch your dreams? To them I always say, are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Is it a fire that burns you up inside? How bad do you want it? How bad do you need it? Are you eating, sleeping, dreaming with that one thing on your mind? How bad do you want it? How bad do you need it? 'Cause if you want it all, you gotta lay it all out on the line.
What's up, everybody? That's right. If you want it all, you got to lay it all out on the line. I picked that song for a reason. I know James is upset that I play the music, but he'll get over it. I hope everybody's having a good night. It's Friday. What's going on? Let me get this old video fired up over here. I saw the other trucker, James Best, is live in the house. First one in here on a Friday night. What is going on? It is 7:45, sir. It is 7:45. What exactly are you doing awake after all of that moaning and groaning I heard from you earlier? Just curious. But anyway, so let me get it fired up over here so I can see the chat that's going on. So let me get it fired. Oh, then we'll turn the volume down so I don't have a bad echo. Oh boy, James was first. Brian Garner's in the house. Jason Perry, there you go. Big Road Little Truck. It's me, Gary. Big John. Enough noise. There you go. Yep. Big John. Brenton, Florida's in the house. What's going on? See, all right, I'm caught up. All right, there we go. So, Daniel, you're far from first. Sorry. You already missed the music. Yeah, you can turn up the volume now. Provost. David Tate. We got a lot of people up in here. Yeah, look at that. Brian Garner. All right, James is good for the soul. That's right. That's right. Blood in my ears will clot soon. There you go. So, it's Friday night. We are on the road. I'm over here in Ohio. I hope everybody's having a good evening. James, do know it costs to run I-88 from Iowa up to Rockford? Okay, Daniel, we'll let you slide. We'll let you slide. I'm just going to tell you, Daniel, there's a lot of comments up here above you. Slipping. James can tell you how much it costs to run that toll. He pays good money to have a toll calculator app on his phone. So, but it's almost Christmas. I hope everybody's ready. We got a week and a half left. Week and a half to Christmas. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to go home. This is weekend number 4 on the road. So I'm ready. Maybe I'm telling you wrong. Maybe it's weekend number 3. It is weekend number 3. So I'm ready to see the house and see the wife and see the kids and get ready for Christmas. So we'll be making our way toward Dixieland for maybe next Thursday or Friday. I know you're not blind, Daniel. I was just making sure of it because you come up in here with that comment and first mess about 20 minutes into the video. No, I'm just kidding. Club 386, that's right. Hey, Gary, Snorlord sent me a picture of that truck, man. I'm going to tell you what, it looks sharp. I'm just going to tell you, word of advice, that imitation is the greatest form of flattery. Just letting you know, okay? So, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. It looks good, though. It looks really good. Yeah, Steve sent me a picture of it. I like it. I dig it. So, I know, Daniel. I'm just messing with you too, so see? But anyway, 7 more days. There you go. 7 more days. Yep. So, yeah, this is weekend number 3 for me, so I guess I'm about 21 days in so far. Jeff Beard, missed the music. Well, I'll get back to that music in a minute. I picked a specific song because there's been a lot of talk lately. I don't, spot market, this and that. What's up, what's down, what's it going to be later? How's it going to go next month, next year, 10 years from now, 10 months? I don't know, 10 days. The only thing I do know for sure No, I have not grabbed another monster, but what I said was going to happen earlier happened. I caught my second wind and wide awake. So we will sleep normal schedule tonight and go from there. There you go, Brent. Oh, I told James earlier I was coming down the interstate here in Ohio, and I knew James was in Ohio, but I knew where he was sitting at. And I wasn't there. I wasn't anywhere close. And I'm coming down the interstate and I see James headed at me. Or so I thought. It was not James. But it was his identical twin. Bird on the hood and everything. Except that truck was cooler because it had chicken lights all down the side of it. Just saying. But anyway, yeah. So James has got him a twin out there. Black T680, gold stripes, bird on the hood, the whole 9. But chicken lights, so they stepping you out a little bit. But anyway, just saying. But I did kind of have a little something I wanted to talk about, and Steve kind of touched on it in his live video if y'all watched it. James copied off that other truck. There we go. There we go. Yep, Kenworth and Honda Civic. They're about the same. Same level. Yep. Interchangeable. That's right. There you go. Nailed it. What's going on? Thank you for the thumbs up. All right, Big Road. There you go. Were you in Ohio today? Oh boy. Oh boy. But no, I hadn't done a video in a while, and been focused a lot on not necessarily trying to figure out the market, because I don't believe that there is such a thing. I don't think that there is a figuring out this market, this business that we're in. I think that it fluctuates. I think that one week to the next is constantly different. And I believe that that is a huge piece of information to understand, that some things move on a set schedule and some things don't. Some things pay better one week than they do the next. And having flexibility in what you're doing, being able to change the way you run based on what you are seeing, to me, is important for success. And I just wanted to say that. Me and Steve and James, we've been doing a lot of brainstorming all week. Jeff has helped everybody else trying to find loads. Yeah, there you go, Grabber. I don't think that there's any everybody talks about figuring it out. Thomas Wilson, what's going on? There you go. I wondered if you'd be up in here tonight. I don't think that there is a figure this out, have to figure it out as far as what the market's going to do. I think that it's just roll with the flow. take what comes at you and make the lemonade out of the lemons kind of a, you know, thought process. Because there's really nothing you're going to do about it anyway. So, okay, there you go, Thomas. I mean, to me, spending time, I agree with that, Grabber. This Peterbilt is not agreeing with me on that, but anyway, we're trying to overcome that. I think spending time trying to figure out what the market is going to do is time wasted, because it's still going to do it. It's still going to do it. So wasting time trying to figure out what the market may do, what have you achieved with that? Now you just simply know what it's going to do. That doesn't mean that your business is set up to handle that. I think you just have to take what happens, take what comes. TJ Jones. And yeah, there you go, Thomas. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit in my beard. I seen a few more gray in there a little bit already. I mean, I don't know, I ain't ready for that yet. I ain't even 40. But I put more value in paying more attention to what I need, paying more attention to figuring out how I can run my game plan to be successful, and figuring out what my options are based on what I see any given day. Because every day things change. The spot market fluctuates every single day. TJ, what's... I don't know about all that. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want that. But when I, you know... I told... I'll be 37 in January, Daniel. But, is that right? Hang on. Yes, that's right. 37. I enjoy looking at loads. I enjoy looking at load boards and trying to piece the puzzle together, because that's what it is. It's a puzzle. And you got to find the pieces and put them in the order and put them together. Oh, I agree with that too, James. I agree with that too. I didn't ever claim to be old and wisdomed. But being that I'm 37, I grew up in the age of video games. And when I'm looking for loads and I'm looking at profits and things like that, it's a simple way of me being driven to, yeah, I don't know about that, TJ. I don't know about that. My wife would probably run me off if I was home too much. But in other jobs I've done, even when I wasn't in trucking, and then when I was a company driver, running by the mile, I don't know. It's the thrill of trying to do more, trying to outdo what you did last week, or trying to outdo your top number, you know, your previous high. I'm driven by that a lot. And I enjoy trying to find the nugget. You know, there's days I get frustrated with the load boards, or with, you know, calling brokers or whatnot, simply because I'm making a lot of calls and it's just not working out. But I still enjoy doing it. There's, you know, it's almost like trucking to me. It's just part of it. And if you if you have a positive mindset about that aspect of this game, because to me that's what it is. Yes, it's a business. Yes, it's my livelihood. It's my family's livelihood. But this is a big game. How much can I get? How much money can I make every single week? I'm out, you know, to top that score, basically. And thinking about it from a video game standpoint, you know, what's my high score? I'm trying to beat it every week. And I grew up in that time when that was all coming around. And that was a big part of my childhood and development, and I lived that from day to day with trying to make money. And I don't view the aspect of brokers and load boards and things like that as a negative or a what am I looking for here? A bad part of this gig, or a unfun, tooth pulling. I enjoy that. And when you realize that, at least for me, when you realize that that is going to make being successful easier, to me at least it does, it takes a lot of the stress off. It takes a lot of the stress off. I don't dread making the phone call. I don't dread looking at the load board trying to find it. It's camping out at yep. But you know, it's almost like anybody who's looking for a treasure, you know. I think I'm gonna find it under the next rock. No, I would agree with that, TJ. I would agree with that. But I think, you know, Steve did a video earlier and he was talking about what would the market do in 19, and I think more than anything, now let me preface what I'm about to say. I've not been doing this the longest of anybody out here. There's people with a lot more experience, and the people with a lot bigger bank accounts than what I've got from this industry. With that being said, my perspective is that one of the best things you can do to try to be successful is be open to change. And I'm not saying be open to all change. Mainly in how you run, how you make your money, where you go, where you don't go. How you run as far as length of haul. Are you running shorts? Are you running long? Are you running medium length? You know, you going up and down or side to side, in and out. But I think that unless you're in the middle of an equipment purchase or a major financial purchase, what we have is what we have. You know, let's use me or James or Steve, grabbers in here. We all have our trucks, we have our trailers, we have those expenses. What the market does tomorrow, we just have to make the best of it. And fretting over what the market will do is not going to gain you any. Now, that type of a mindset would be necessary if you were contemplating a large purchase within the next few months and there's uncertainty in the market. Okay, well then now you might need to try to focus on that. But if you're not looking to make a purchase, I'm not looking to buy a new truck right now. I'm not looking to buy a trailer. I'm not looking to buy anything. So, knowing what the market will do, I'm also not looking to sell anything. So, what would knowing what it would do is going to do help me? I don't think it would help me a whole lot at all, because the goal now is already to try to save as much money, try to make as much profit, try to maximize profits, try to stockpile cash. You know, those are the goals already. So if we knew that the market was going to take a downturn, what would you do? Sell now and get out? No, I wouldn't. Maybe some would. I don't view that as a viable option. I've said it before, they're going to put dirt on me in this truck. CPAP, what's going on? So if we knew that the market was going to take a downturn in 6 months, what would that do for us? If all of our goals are already to stockpile cash, maximize revenue, minimize expenses, what else are you going to do? You're simply going to try to make the best of the situation. So I don't focus too much on what will happen in the future as far as the markets, the spot market, the rates, how much capacity we're going to have, things like that. I did not, CPAP, I did not. But it was nice to meet him. It was nice to finally meet him. Albeit short. He was in a hurry to get a shower and head down the road. So we just chit-chatted for a couple of minutes and he had to haul it. But just go to Oregon and be done with it. I don't think I'm going to go that far. I don't think I'm going to go that far. But here's the thing I will say. There may be a day where that is necessary. Do I think that that's a possibility? Nah, not likely. But that might be a day that comes where that's the only load you can take that makes any sense and makes you enough money for your daily goals or your rate per mile goals or whatever, however you choose to run your business and analyze the numbers, whether it's a daily goal or a rate per mile, a weekly goal, you know, whatever. There may be a day where that Oregon load is the only one that makes sense. And that's the day that I'll head to Oregon. I don't foresee that day coming. Now I may... Well, you know what, James? How about that? There you go, TJ, yeah. But, anyway, that's all I wanted to say. You know, Steve brought it up that we've all been kind of brainstorming a little bit. And I think that thought I fixed it already. Oh, anyway. There you go, 300 seconds of hell. You know, see, now I can have 300 seconds of peace without having to see that pop onto the screen and just like, yeah, you know, just roll in there every time I see it pop up. So there's that. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I think that's all the advice that I could give. And like I say, I don't even know if you want to quantify my advice. Just something that I use, is something the way I think about it is to be flexible. I agree with that too, TJ. Relationships with brokers do not have to be combative. I never call a broker thinking that I'm going to war. I call a broker thinking that it's going to be a great phone call and they're going to tell me what they can do, and I'm going to tell them what I can do. We may be on the same page with the same thing. We may not. And at the end of the day, they're not my enemy. And at the end of the day, I don't hate them. If we can get together as two different companies and make something work together, that they make money and I make money, then that's great. And that's not always going to be the case. It's actually a slim percentage. But I don't view a broker call as a combative nature or as a war that I'm headed into. You know, like, let me put on my suit of armor and grab my shield and get ready to make these broker calls. I don't view it that way. And, you know, it's all in your mindset. It's all in your mindset. Jason Perry said, got me some decisions to make. Got a call from SFI. They want my truck back before my lease is up and give me a different one. What? You're right, CPAP. He did, probably. He probably did say screw it and went to bed. Yeah, Jason, what's going on with that? Want your truck back before the end of the lease? Right, TJ, and actually I've been talking to one particular broker a lot over the last 2 weeks, and just under $200,000 in 13 months. This is 2 weeks after they upped my payments for it. Yeah, now, Jason, I do remember that if you were pacing, you know, they have a, what is it, 150 miles, 150,000 miles a year. If you're pacing over that, they're going to up your pay or something like that. Yeah, I do remember that. I had 140,000 on mine in 11 months and was starting to get like hints that I needed to kind of watch it. Yeah, it's 150,000 miles a year, CPAP. It's in your contract. If it's anything more than that, they will charge you extra. Basically, your payments are dictated by the fact that for a 3-year lease, your truck's going to have 450,000 miles on it when you turn the truck in, if you do turn the truck in. And that's what the residual is based on, is X year truck with X amount of miles. And if you turn it in and it's got a lot of miles on it, then it's not worth as much, so you have to pay extra. Not ready to buy a truck yet, though, so can't walk away. I blow 150 out the water. Yeah. Well, you know, it's all in how you run your business, you know. I don't think we've talked much, Jason, so I'm not sure exactly where you're at. You know, are you still actually at Schneider? I know obviously you got a Schneider Finance truck. Are you still at Schneider? But anyway, yeah, I do remember that being in the contract when I had my Schneider Finance truck. So, oh, okay, I think I do remember that now. You're at Mercer. Yep, so, yeah, they will up your payment. They will up your payment for doing too many miles, because you could give the truck back after 3 years and have 600,000 miles on it, and it ain't worth what they thought it would be. So that's what that's for. And it's no different than leasing a car. When you lease an automobile, it comes with 12 or 14 or 15,000 miles a year, whatever you agree to. Payments are based on that. You go over, you pay a penalty. Same thing. So, yep. There is a catch on leasing. But, you know, it is what it is. Just because you lease a truck, I don't see it as being, you know, a bad option. Is it the best option? No. Is it a bad one? It just depends on what your options are. Your options determine if it's a bad option. If it's your only option, then it can't be bad because it's the only one you got. But anyway, I told you in the title, it was going to be boring. So I hope nobody's upset or disappointed because it's been boring. But I haven't done a lot of live feeds lately or videos of any kind. Mainly just because, there you go, CPAP, only option you had at the time. Same thing with me. When I decided to get back to buying a truck, that was my only option. You know, I owned a truck 14 years ago, but it was so long ago, I didn't even have tax returns from that far back. And there was no proof of that. It didn't even show up on my credit history. So it was basically like I didn't ever own a truck. So when I came to Schneider with the SFI truck, that was my only option. So anyway, but it I hadn't done a lot of videos lately just because I've been focused on trying to make as much money as I can. You know, the truck has definitely taken more money than I would have liked it to take over the last 6 months. There you go. He's back. Damn it. Excuse me. Oh. But, so yeah, I haven't done a lot of videos, and it's been mainly because I've been more focused on with quarter for the swear jar. That's right. That's right. With a little bit of turn in rates, I have been focused on trying to figure the best way for me to run to still make the same amount of money. And you know, one week it was I went to Arizona. Now this is before Thanksgiving, but you know, I went to Arizona, and then you know, I came back and I went to South Dakota and to Texas and Pennsylvania, and then I've been doing short hops this week. And the thing that I have come to realize over the last 2, 3, 4 months is that what works today may not work tomorrow, because those runs might not be there tomorrow. If you're running shorties in the Midwest, I'll give you for example, okay? Now, it ended up working out. It ended up working out. So I guess I can't complain. But on, let's see, what day was this? Wednesday, I booked my load that I picked up yesterday and the one I picked up today. I booked those on Wednesday. Put them together at the same time, booked them at the same time. One was a click and go app based, and one was a traditional phone call with a broker. And the broker was the second load. So while I had him on the phone, kind of got the details on the load, I said, okay, hang on, let me book this other one, make sure that I've got it locked down, and then I'll take your load. And he was astounded by that. On a side note, this broker had no idea that there were click and go apps out there that you could book freight from. So there's that. Not everybody is up to par and up to speed on what is going on out here in this industry. They simply stuck in their ways and moving their freight, and they got no idea they're being bypassed. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. But these two loads that I booked on Wednesday put me in Indianapolis tomorrow. So I'll be in Indianapolis tomorrow making a delivery. And when I booked that on Wednesday, I didn't do any looking at what was coming out of Indianapolis on Saturday. I know that there's always a lot of freight in the Indianapolis area on the weekend that I can run short hops on the weekend out of Indy, you know, either to Michigan or Ohio, maybe to Chicagoland, or, you know, the good parts of Chicagoland that I'll go to. So I booked that load blindly based on previous experience. And that was on Wednesday. And I spent the rest of Wednesday or all my free time that I had on Wednesday and all day yesterday. I had about an 8-hour, I did have an 8-hour split break in the middle of the day where I made my delivery and then I didn't pick up till that evening. And I sat at truck stop all day yesterday trying to find freight out of Indianapolis on Saturday that I could run over the weekend. And it wasn't there. There was freight there. There's loads that I could do. Some, not a lot. Not nearly as many as I expected. But I ended up putting it together today, and I will be able to run through the weekend and keep moving every day with a short hop. But that just goes to show that what went on last week does not mean what will go on next week. And what made you the most money last week will not necessarily be what will make you the most money this week. Yes, they do. CPAP, they do. I like the Columbus area and Indianapolis as well for the weekend with the Click and Go apps. They seem to not have a hard time staying busy. Now this weekend I don't have a Click and Go app load. I got 2 traditional brokered loads for the weekend. And you know, but they keep me moving. And there you go, off to bed. I can't believe you made it this late. See you in the morning. Call me tomorrow. I guess I'll sign up for another torture day of phone calls with the other trucker, James Best. But anyway, you know I'm kidding. So that's all I really wanted to say. Not that it means this much. Not that it matters. Well, Jeff, it's 8:30 over here in the Eastern time zone. But, you know, the other thing, too, that everybody, and I think sometimes we're all guilty of this. I know I am. We're all guilty of this. We all have to remember that one shoe does not fit every foot. And what works for me may not work for anybody else. It may not work for you. It may not work for, you know, the next guy, but it might work for the next guy. That's, you know, it's easy sometimes to get caught up with the idea of you should do this or you should do that. And I kid James a lot about why does he do certain things that he does, because I wouldn't do it that way. But at the end of the day, he is successful with it, and it's more me poking fun at him than it is saying he's stupid for what he's doing, because he's obviously successful with it. It's just a different way of doing things. What works for him doesn't necessarily work for me. We have different goals. We have different needs. Everybody's like that. And so that's what, nobody does it like James. That's right. That's what makes this thing change from week to week, because everybody's doing something different. What I need to do is not what you need to do, and what the next guy or the next guy over there, nobody needs the same thing. And so when we're all doing different things because of what we need, it ends up that nothing's the same. And so sometimes when you look for advice and you get advice based on, you know, somebody else's ideas of how they run their truck, it may not work for you. You may do it exactly the same way they do and you still fail while they're sitting on a pile of cash. Y'all don't need the same thing. But You know, that Crown and Coke, says Thomas. Man, not while you trailer trucking. Let's use me and James, for instance, okay? Let's use me and James. We run a lot of the same way. We run a lot of the different ways. I mean, I just said that totally wrong. In a lot of ways, we run similarly, but in a lot of ways, we don't. And it's mainly because our revenue needs are different. My home bills and the money I need to make to go to the house are significantly higher than James. And so that dictates that I run my business a different way because my needs are higher. Now, does that mean that James is doing it wrong? No. What? I must have missed something. Here goes the neighborhood. Yeah. But it's simply a difference in what we need. So anyway, like I said earlier, I told you it was going to be boring. So there's always that. But I just want to do a little video. I haven't done one in a while, and that's why I've been focused on trying to rebuild the bank accounts from the draining effect of one Peterbilt that we're sitting here in. And you know, knock on wood, we've had a couple of good solid weeks. We don't really have anything right now needs to be done. I know I probably shouldn't say that. But you know, knock on wood, everything's going smooth. The issues that we had and knew about, we've got all of those taken care of. And you know, now it's just, you know, maintenance and wait for the next thing. That's what this whole game is about, right? Wait for the next repair, you know. Michael, in rare occasions, pretty much it's, you know, click it and go. If you want it, you take it. If you don't, that's fine too. You know, somebody's going to move it. And, you know, occasionally you can call them and put an offer in, but it doesn't, you know, I pull a lot of Uber Freight. I pull a lot. Are they my number one broker? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the breakdown on that is. I've got a couple that I've pulled quite a few for. And I think I'm on load. Let me see here. So I'm on 104. So this is my 104th spot market load. Oh, okay. Sold your Freightliner? What kind of Freightliner do you have? But it it's a sometimes it's hard, at least it is for me. 2013 Cascadia with 13 speed. I think I remember you saying that once before. What'd you buy now? I didn't know you bought a new truck. Unless it wasn't recently. Then maybe I do remember you buying a new truck. I don't know. I have a bad memory. At least my wife says so. Sometimes it's easy to think that maybe the path that you're taking is not correct one because the revenue is not right. You know, old CR England truck, copper color. Okay. You know, Steve said something in this video earlier, and I have seen it as well. You know, people talking about rates are too low, I'm parking my truck till the first of the year, or, you know, whatever. Yes, Michael, they are very fair on their rates. Because there's little to no negotiation, I'm not simply going to pull it because it goes where I need to go unless I'm in a desperate situation. I'm pulling it because a lot of times it's exceptional. So there's that. But simply, I shake my head when I see people say that rates aren't what they should be and they're parking their truck. Because that's admitting defeat and throwing in the towel. I'm sorry. I'll have an argument and a discussion and an agreement to disagree with anybody who has the mentality that because rates are down, the best solution is to park the truck and sit at home. I won't agree to that unless you had planned vacation time, and then that's not really why you're parking the truck. You're parking the truck because you were going on vacation. So when I see people on Facebook talking about rates are down and I'm parking this thing till the first of the year, March or whatever, I'll never subscribe to that mentality. When rates go down a little bit, you simply have to change the way you're running to continue your current profit level. That's what I look at. When somebody says that rates are down and they can't make any money, that means that their business is being run inefficiently in order to handle the current market. Now, does that mean that your business is inefficient? Or does that mean that the market is down to the point that what was a profitable business model is now not profitable? It could be the case. And then I guess at that point in time, you have to determine if your current business model is going to last until the business that you're in changes back to where you're profitable. Or should maybe you change the way you run your business in order to make it profitable in the current situation, right? So, simply parking the truck doesn't do anything. There's Mikey Mentor. I meant to say something to you a minute ago when you came in, Mike. I'm sorry, I wasn't ignoring you. Yes, TJ, I agree. Texas loads do pay low, but I don't think that the low fuel cost makes up for it, because then coming out of Texas is even worse. And that's right, Jason. You can't make any money parked. So any day you pass up, you can't make it up. That's right. The day is gone. You don't make that day up. And Jeff is right too. That's a stupid business plan. When you are in this game, all right, Big Road, see you in a bit later on. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Might catch y'all on Zello tomorrow or something like that. I might tune in on Zello. But, to have the mentality that you're going to park the truck, if you're going to have that mentality, I hope you're prepared to go get another job. Because if you park the truck, you're making zero. So, okay, maybe you have a paid off truck and you got a pile of cash and you can afford to take a month or two off. Okay, fine. What are you going to do? Okay, so you're going to deplete your pile of cash. And now, because let's just be honest, most people who have a truck payment probably don't have a huge stockpile of cash to just walk away for months at a time because the market turns down. Could we all agree on that? I think I'm going to see a bunch of yeses. If people are making payments, I know at least for myself, I don't have money to walk away for months at a time and just park the truck, park the trailer, pay the insurance, and say, I'm going to take 3 months off because the markets are down. Okay? So, these are people with paid off trucks, older trucks, and they got a pile of money in the bank, and they're going to take a couple of months off. Exactly. That's where I was going, Jeff. That's where I was going. You take 3 months off, and you deplete your cash because you were unwilling to run for a cheaper rate. Now you've depleted all your cash, and you got your old truck. And Jeff has talked about this in his videos about old trucks versus new ones. You go home and sit because rates aren't paying what they should be, at least in your head, and park the truck, deplete your cash. Now you got to come back out on the road with that old truck and run like heck to make some money because you don't know how to operate in this market because you just sat home for 3 months. So now you're trying to learn this market that you were avoiding by sitting home for 3 months. All you achieved was to deplete your cash stockpile, and now you have to run because you got no more cash, and you have to push that old truck to make it. Instead of humming along at a nice even pace and learning how to adapt to a changing market and never depleting that stockpile of cash and never having to push that old truck, but now you've depleted your stockpile, you sat at home for 3 months, you didn't learn how to be successful in the given market, and now you're pushing that old truck, and guess what? Something happens to that old truck, and what do? You got no cash. You got no backup because you sat home 3 months. People out here have been working for 3 months and have figured the market out. You hadn't. You've been sitting on the sidelines. Where have you benefited? You've benefited nowhere. Except for having 3 months at home. Enjoying your time off and blowing all your money. So, when I see people on Facebook and YouTube talking about parking their truck because rates are down, I'll never subscribe to that idea. That's not the best. That's not it. Not only is it not the best business plan, I don't even agree that it's a good one. It'll never be a good one unless the only time it becomes reasonable in my mind to park the truck is when every load running pays less than it costs to operate. Well, I guess I'm selling the truck. But that's the only time that makes sense. When you're paying money to run the freight, then yeah, don't run the freight. Sit at the house. But because rates are down, you're going to sit at home? No way. Yeah, that's right. Tied up emotionally. These people that do that, they're also not the people that call the broker with a good mindset. I would venture to say that a lot of the people that park their trucks because rates are down view a broker as their enemy. That's right. I had many a talk with somebody that we both know, Jeff, during the summer. During the summer when rates were $3 and $3.50 a mile, and it was easy to get $3 a mile, and not every load you'd pull would be that. And I would bring up that, you know, the national average is only $2 or $2.15 at the time, or $2.17 or whatever. Oh, I don't care what the national average, this is what I want. We know, you know what I'm talking about. But that's right. People forget the national average. People forget the averages. So, right. Michael P., I'm going to be honest with you. And I said this before. Rates have been down. Let me back that up. Rates are not down. Rates are still higher today than they were 2 years ago. Rates are down compared to what they were in the summer. So it's all in the glass half empty, glass half full. Which side are you looking at? How do you want to look at it? Is it down from the summertime of this year? Yeah, I'll give you that. It is. Is it down from 2 years ago this time? No, it's not. So it's all in how you want to look at it. And rates in October of this year were not what rates in July or rates in June or May were. May, June, July, they were far better than October this year. But I've said it before. October was my second best month in the spot market. I ran my business a different way. I did a different set of runs. I ran to different areas. And it was my second best month as far as revenue goes. So, rate per mile, it wasn't my second best month. It was a lot lower rate per mile. But I made more money than a lot of the other months that I had a high rate per mile. So, parking your truck is not an option if you plan to be in business for a length of time. If you're at the end of your career and making money isn't a big deal, and you don't have any future goals other than to just, you know, drive for a little while longer and then hang the keys on the shiny gold hook and walk away, well then fine, go park the truck for 3 months and see what happens. Maybe they come back up, and maybe you can go back to trucking because it meets your expectation level of what it should be. And maybe those keys will just stay dangling on that hook for the next 10 years because they don't come back to what you think it should be, and you never climb back in that truck. Might be. Any skin off my back? No. Do I think it's a smart way to run a business? No. But, you know, such is life, and everybody's, you know, everybody's mindset is different. You know, that's one of those float your boat kind of things, you know. Whatever floats yours. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to think you're smart for doing it. But I'll agree to, you got the right to do what you want to do. I'll say it's dumb and stupid. At least it is in my head. If it makes you happy, go for it. Yep, one less truck book and load. There you go. No skin off my back. You want to sit at home for a year? Sit at home for a year. Now, if you're a friend of mine and I know you personally, I'm going to try to argue with you and talk you out of it. I'm going to try to show you the error of that thought process. Because if I know you and you're a friend of mine and I don't want to see you fail, I'm going to try to talk you out of it, because that's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, exactly. That's suicide for your business. Go home and sit till you got not a dollar because rates are too low. And then come up here and try to push the truck down the road hard because you got to make up for the time you lost. You can't make up for the time you lost. You'll run your truck in the ground trying to make that time up. And then it's going to break down. It's not when. It's not that it might. It will break down. And you just... What? Is the other Trucker James Bass back online? Did I miss something? I must have missed it. So it I just saw that over the last week on Facebook, and I shake my head because it's little dips in the markets like this every time. Oh yeah, that's right. But every time you see a little dip like this, you see this certain group of people, and they're always, I'm parking this thing till blah, 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 blah. Well, have fun. You know? To each their own. So, yeah, that's right, you know? And these people, let's just call it what it is, okay? Let's call a spade, whatever. However you want to term the catchy lingo here. We're talking about older people, old school drivers with old paid off trucks. These are the people that say, I'm not driving this thing anymore. I'm parking it at the house. And when I'm not going to run for $1.90 a mile, blah, you know, you hear the people, you see them on Facebook, okay? They got that 1990 something model or 2000 model, 379 Peterbilt with 1.5 million miles on it, and maybe done had a rebuild or two. And, you know, it's just as old and cranky and crotchety as the driver is. All right? And let's just be honest about it. That's who we're talking about. And these people, and they go sit home for a month or 2 months or 3 months, and they let that truck sit out the driveway, and maybe they crank it up, let it run, you know, once a week, maybe they don't. Maybe they drive it around the block once a week, once a month, and maybe they don't. And then after 2-3 months, money starts to run low or below their comfort level. You know, I'm not going to say that they're broke, because a lot of them will sit home for 2-3 months, and if they're older and they've been disciplined with their business, they wouldn't be broke. So I'm not going to say that they're broke, but maybe the money gets to a certain level where they're no longer comfortable sitting. And so now they have to go out and work. But, okay, you've wasted now, let's say a month, 2 months, 3 months. You've depleted some of, if not all of your cash. And now you got to push that old truck down the road hard. And you got to push you hard. Because you got to push the driver down the road in order for the truck to go. So it ain't going to work. And now you got to try to learn this market that other people have been doing for the whole 2, 3, 4 months, however long you've been parked. You've been sitting on the sidelines. It's not a good recipe for success. But you know, and it's beating a dead horse. How much, you know, you can't change those certain people's mind. So, you know, there's that. But anyway, wow, 63 minutes already. And y'all are still here? Yeah, Jeff, yeah. Wow, I need some more. Cherry Coke. But anyway, I don't have anything else to say. You know, I've been at this a little bit of time, not nearly as long as a lot of people. Maybe I've been at this more than some, but not as long as others. I guess that's true for everybody. And ha ha, TJ, ha ha ha. Oh, Bruno, come on. But all I really wanted to say about this whole long 64-minute video that has transpired here, and off on many tangents and random thoughts, is that, to me, the biggest key to being successful, I'm going to say that there's two. And they're like 1 and 1A. And the first one is, in order to be successful, you first have to know the nature of your business. And what I mean by that is, understanding how much you need, what your costs are. The youth group Christmas party is over. All right, have a good evening there. Yeah, I can't do the new math. I refuse to learn it the new way, Jeff. I won't. But to me, the most important thing is first to know what it is that you need. Knowing your cost, knowing the revenue that you need to generate. That's the key number one. Because in order to make a good decision on what it is you need to do, you have to know what you need. The second most important thing to me, and make it, equally important, is being flexible, being open-minded on how you're going to achieve that. If you look at most all of these Fortune 500 companies in this country, they're not single revenue. They don't have a single revenue source. They're open-minded and flexible on how they make their money. They're willing to try new things to generate a profit. And in trucking, you need to do the same thing. How much beer money do you need? There you go, TJ. That's right. But all of these big companies and corporations are flexible in what they do in order to make their profit. Trucking should be no different. Where you run, the loads you take, that all, you have to have flexibility in that. If you are stuck in a mindset of this is what I'm going to do, come hell or high water, I'm going to haul this type freight, I'm going to go to these places only on this set schedule, I'm going to avoid this weather, or I don't go above this point on the map, or whatever. If you're stuck in that line of thinking, then you are going to limit your success. It's inevitable. So to me, the second most important thing is being flexible. Being willing to go get the dollar. Because if you turn the dollars down because it goes above I-40 in the winter, you don't want the dollars. If you sit home for 3 months because rates are averaging $2 a mile and not $2.50, you don't want the dollars. You don't want it bad enough. If you were here in the beginning, I played a song, and it was, how bad do you want it? Because if you sit home for 3 months because rates are a little too low for you, or if you won't go above I-40 because it's wintertime and you're only going to run the south, you don't want it that bad. That's just my opinion. No New York City. I'm not going to go to New York City unless somebody gives me a Brinks truck full of money. But I'll go. I'll be flexible. I'll be flexible. And if the money pays right, I'll go. It's going to pay me handsomely. I might be able to take a month off and watch rates be low, But never say never, James was kidding earlier about going to Oregon. I'll go to Oregon. It's going to pay me well. Because if I'm going to Oregon, it's paying me well. So, you know. Am I looking for a load to Oregon? Absolutely not. But if I stumble across one that pays the right amount of money, I'll go. It's going to be a healthy one. But anyway, be flexible. That's what I was trying to get my point across. And I've talked to Steve about this a lot lately. And if y'all watched his live feed earlier, this last week, Steve has been much more flexible. He's run his truck a lot different this week than he has in months. And he's seeing results. You know, he, myself, and James are on the phone a lot. You know, sometimes the majority of the day. And we're constantly tossing ideas. We're constantly tossing loads. You know, we all know where we're all going. Hey, did you see this load over there? Hey, did you see that load over there? What about that one that such and such has got? Did you check on that one? You know, and not that we're all trying to tell each other what to do, but it's almost like a fresh set of eyes. And you know, a lot of times I'll be looking at the load boards and I'll get kind of bogged down on looking at freight for myself. And I'll need a break from that. I'm not going to lie to you. While I say I love looking at the load board, I'm not telling a lie. I do enjoy looking at the load board, but sometimes you get bogged down looking at the same things over and over again. There's only so much you can check on DAT and C.H. Robinson and the other brokers, you know. You look at it and you refresh a few times and you come around again and you look at these other ones and, you know. So then a lot of times I'll jump over and say, well, oh, James is going over here. Let's see what's out there. Because every now and then that nugget will pop on. That nugget will pop. And I don't know, Mike, I don't go crazy. I'll just change what I'm looking at. I'll go from looking at my city to go to looking for James, or go to looking for Steve, or wherever. And it helps to have multiple minds looking at the same problem. You know, that's a totally different subject, and this is not anything I've been talking about. But Steve was talking about this earlier, and I made a comment on his video that, you know, because he was talking about me, him, or me, him, and James, and we, you know, talk back and forth and brainstorm a lot. When any of these big companies have an issue that they're trying to solve or trying to come up with a new idea on how to do something, they don't give it to one guy and say, hey, figure this out. You know, they don't give it to one guy and say, figure this out. They give it to a team of people. They say, hey, think about this from all sides, come up with multiple ideas, brainstorm on this issue, come up with the best solution. Why should trucking be any different? Why should freight hauling be any different? Why should one person go it alone and try to figure it out themselves? Have multiple people look at the situation with you. 3 heads and 3 brains and 3 thought processes and 6 eyes are going to come out with a better solution than you looking at it yourself and maybe not seeing it from the other point of view. Sometimes you'll have the right answer. Sometimes you won't. Thomas Wilson, what do you need a snowmobile for in Georgia? What in the world? 5th wheel or travel trailer. Buy a 5th wheel after you buy a dually truck. That's the answer to that. Buy a dually truck and then buy a monster fifth wheel. I recommend about a 42 foot. Buy one and be done. 45 foot motor coach. There you go. You can always do that too. Buy a bus. But anyway, we are an hour and 15 minutes in. I cannot believe it. I appreciate it. Anybody who has been here from the beginning. A Dodge with a Cummins with 4 wheels on the back of it would be a wise choice. Call me tomorrow if you're serious, because I do have a comment about that. But anyway, Jeff said I had to have one to come to work for him. Oh, you gotta buy a snowmobile now in order to... What? I did not get this memo. I did not get the memo that we down in Georgia had to buy snowmobiles. I did not know that. I don't know what kind of use I would get out of it. 600 Cummins. I don't know about a 600. Oh, in the motor coach. Yes, 600 Cummins in the motor coach. Yeah, ISX pumped up. If it's a 45 footer tag axle, which probably is, got an ISX. But yeah, that's all I really want to say. And I mean, I've been 75 minutes rambling about different tangents of that, but if y'all been here listening to me this long, I think y'all have got what I'm trying to say. Sometimes I'm not the best at conveying my thoughts. My brain runs about 10 miles an hour faster than I can talk it out. And yep, I did need a good laugh. Sometimes my brain moves 10 miles an hour faster than I can process it and talk it. But, you know, I'm not trying to give advice. I'm just trying to convey thoughts, because what works for me won't work for other people. It will work for some, but it won't work for others. You know, it goes back to that whole shoe won't fit everybody. And there's other people that have been in this game longer than I have, been much more successful than I have, and those people should give advice before I do. But I think we can all share our thoughts. And sometimes what somebody says might be of some value. Even if it's not advice, maybe it's just a different way of looking at something. You know, a different way of thinking about the situation. So that's all I was doing. And I don't want to come across as, you know, the person who says, oh, you need to do this or you need to do that. I'm not doing that. I hope it didn't come across that way. Just simply because I don't agree with something does not mean I'm telling you you shouldn't do it. But going tomorrow at 5 a.m. to Indiana with my friend to pick up a 28-foot snowmobile trailer. What? All right, there you go. 28-foot snowmobile trailer. But anyway, so it is 80 minutes and we are going to slide out of here. It is, what time is it? 9 o'clock Eastern time, and I'm going to get ready to go to bed. We did the old split break last night, and we didn't even get to sleep the whole 8 hours. So I'm ready for bed. Car hauler / snowmobile trailer. Okay. 28 foot. So was that a 2-car hauler or 10 snowmobiles or something? 8 snowmobiles or 2 cars? That's probably 2 cars. 2 small cars. But anyway, all right, we're gonna get out of here, and y'all be safe. Have a good weekend. If I don't do another video before Christmas, I'll try. I'll be going home next Friday, so I'll try to do another video before Christmas. But if I don't see some of you between now and then, I hope each and every one of you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and be safe. Remember that there'll be lots of drinking and parties and partaking of adult beverage. Just be safe. Do the smart thing. Don't drive. Have somebody drive you, because we want to see you back later on again. So, everybody be safe. Take it easy. And we will see y'all again on the next one. Remember, keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. Peace out.